All right. Okay, we're ready to go. Raina, would you please start by reading?
Yes, sir. Ancient Mayans played a ball game. They passed a heavy rubber ball. They passed the ball without using their hands. Their goal was to get the ball through a stone hoop. Ancient Mayans wore gear to protect themselves. They protected their ribs, they protected their knees, they protected their arms. This was a tough game. It was deadly. Ancient Mayans played for their lives. Winners could live, losers were killed. The ball game is inspired by a Mayan myth. Myths are stories. In the story, two brothers fought underworld lords. The underworld is the place where souls of dead people live. The brothers and lords played a ball game. The brothers won.
Okay. So, how many of you've
Uh,
heard about this ball game before? Don't
I
worry
want to
about the
say
picture.
I want to say one thing. This is
Yeah,
basically a deadly soccer.
it is very much. And how many of you would play soccer with a solid rubber ball? It's the size of a soccer ball, but it's a solid rubber ball, not one
No,
filled with air.
no, I wouldn't. No, it's like it's like you're kicking a rock at someone or
No,
something.
yeah, exactly. Okay,
Oh,
they
man.
understood rubber, but they didn't have they didn't pump up the ball. No, this was a solid rubber ball. Okay, it would be very painful. Now,
I mean,
here,
it's you're either gonna die from the ball or the person.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Okay, now they had professional players that were like Mayan warriors, and then they had people that basically see because the Mayans they captured their enemies and they imprisoned them as prisoners of war. These are the ones that would get killed. Okay, they put these guys out there against the professionals. So that's me. That'd be like if I went around town, grabbed a bus, and looked for the weakest people I could find and put them on the bus and took them to a stadium and put him up against a professional soccer team. Who's going to win? Okay. And then the losers, who were usually these prisoners, would be the ones that were going to be sacrificed. And it really wasn't because they lost, it was because they were going to get sacrificed anyway. And I've done a little research on this one because I used to teach world history. And it isn't really about the sacrifice part, although that's the part we all remember. It's ritual and it's predating by a good 2 or 3 thousand years any kind of knowledge we had about soccer. And I mean, but can you imagine playing it with a solid rubber ball? Okay, guys, let's get to the icebreaker part of this. You can use your pointer. Um, so, what type of ball player would you be? If you're a girl, you're in A automatically. But if you could have been a professional, you had experience, you had training, you knew the game, you had skills, you knew how to use your elbows, legs, and shoulders. Man, that must have hurt. Um, and then if you're B, you're the guy that they would pick up and and capture and put out there, and you're gonna die. Okay, you were forced to play, and you were gonna lose. And then, if you're not really sure which one you'd probably end up being, it would be D. But can y'all real quickly pick one of those blocks? Ladies, you're automatically in A, so I know that a good number of you will be there. And then, would you be the guy that they picked up that didn't know anything about the game that's going to die, or would you be the professional ball player who had some experience and some training on how to play the game? Can you imagine that you don't know how to play the game? They pick you up, they capture you, they put you out there, you lose, and they kill you. Only three of you guys are participating today? Really? I know which one I'd want to be. I'm with you, Vincent. I'd rather be the professional player. I'm not a soccer player, but I'd sure learn fast.
hey, but are you good enough to survive?
That's true. That is very true. But I think the game was rigged, if you ask me. I think they probably put the ones that are going to lose. Those were the ones that were the prisoners that were going to be sacrificed anyway. Okay, I've heard stories that in some versions of the game, it was the winners who were sacrificed. But there's not a lot of evidence, but there's a little bit of evidence. Most of y'all are saying, I don't know. I don't know that I'd want to do any of this. I wouldn't want to play a game with a solid rubber ball going at me with force where I have to hit it with my shoulders and my chest, and you can't catch it with your hand. Okay. No, they died anyway. They weren't gonna let those guys go. They were gonna die one way or another. They were gonna die.
That game's rigged.
That it's rigged. Yes, it is. It's rigged.
I mean, if you were a prisoner and you won, I wouldn't want to even play if I was still gonna die.
Well, remember, in some versions of the game, it's the winner that got sacrificed, but that's a very rare instance, and we don't have a lot of evidence that really was the way it happened. But there are some that say that's the way it happened. I don't know that that's true. I think it was pretty much, yeah. And it wasn't really about the sacrifice as much as it was about the mythology of this whole thing. Okay, because they were acting out this battle. All right, so remember, guys, you need to read 3.02 and 3.03. And sorry, Vincent, I didn't mean to step on your toes there. 3.02 and 3.03 lessons, and read 3.04. Make sure you do the quiz 3.02. .02, 3.03 quiz. You guys know you need to do that tomorrow. What are you going to have with you when you do it? Notes, please. I'll send out copies of the notes. I think I already sent out copies of all of the notes. Did you all do the mini lesson yet? Did you all do the mini lesson yet? Okay, good. So, because we're gonna watch a video today, and we're gonna talk about that, what's in that mini lesson, because I think it's very important. All right. Can you take me to the next slide, Vincent? Okay. Just remember vision, mission, and values. Vision is to inspire academic and personal growth. Our mission is for all of you to have personalized learning and meaningful student connections. And our values are persistence, we never give up, compassion, we care for each other, and connection, we reach out and we communicate. Let's go to the next slide, Vincent. Okay, if you're missing anything, check your gradebook for zeros. Those went in on Monday. I sent out intelligent agents or emails to you guys, letting you know if you had less than a 70 on the exam, either one of the two exams. 70 some odd of you have not yet completed that exam. Please do so. It was due last week, so I sent those out as reminders. I don't want to get you in trouble with your parents. Get the work done, okay? Don't forget, you still need to do your September writing assignment. That's the one on the Columbian Exchange that needs to be done if you haven't done it already. I've been grading those every day. Okay, move on, please. Vincent. Thank you. Up, back. Okay. So the Panama Canal. Which was the president that believed that the Panama Canal was necessary for trade and transportation? I'm going to give you a hint. This is at the turn of the century in the 1890s and early 1900s, around 1902 to 1905. So which two presidents can we knock off the list automatically just because we know they weren't even alive then? B and D. Good. So it's either A or C, guys. I'm going to put the poll up. Let's see if we can get this. Can't be B or D, guys.
This is like an easy answer.
It should be.
You already got B and D off, and you know those are two U.S. presidents, and so
That's
there's
right.
only one of them that's a president.
Well, no, there's two more there that were both presidents, Taft and Roosevelt, but Taft comes a little later. So the answer is Taft was the president was so big that he got stuck in his own bathtub. True story, in the White House. He was also one of the most intelligent presidents we've ever had in the history of presidents. He was incredibly intelligent, and he also went on to be in the in the Supreme Court for the rest of his life after he was president, which is never it's another thing that's rare, had never been done. He's the only president that had ever had that. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, the answer is C. It was Teddy Roosevelt. And the reason he did it, let's get to the next slide real quick. Vincent, if you could progress for me. You can take me to the next slide. The reason he did it, let's get to why. Why did it happen? Was it because the U.S. wanted to improve international relations with Latin America? Or did we even care about international relations with Latin America? They were our neighbors, but were we really concerned about that? The Panama Canal was built to shorten the distance that ships had to travel to pass between the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. The U.S. wanted to avoid war with France or to increase economic productivity in the region, as if we really cared. Okay. Answer A, B, C, or D. Okay. The answer is B. And you can see the answer if you look at the map on the right. The trip from San Francisco, California to New York City, which are on two opposite sides of the country, the trip would have been about 5,200, 5,300 miles if you go through the Panama Canal. If you go the long way, which is the way they had to go, then it's about 13,000 miles. So you're looking at pretty much cutting 2/3 of the trip out. Which would you rather take, a 5,200 mile trip or a 13,000 mile trip around the world? Okay, or at least the Western Hemisphere. I think I'd rather take the 5,200 mile trip. What about you guys? So how'd they do that? Well, where the Panama Canal is dug, it's only about 15 or 20 miles difference across a very narrow strip of land that's on an isthmus. And so they dug this canal, and the ships can pass between the two oceans at that point. Okay, so all right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, Raina, I need your help on this one. These are going to be true or false. Go ahead and answer them in your chat.
Quick review. Developed.
Whoop.
What?
Oh, okay. You disappeared on me for a minute there. Okay, go on.
Sorry. Read the statement and determine if it's true or false. A developed nation relies mostly on agricultural products. Is it
True or
true or
false?
false?
Developed nation mostly on agriculture. True or false? Okay. What's the next one?
Except for Haiti, did I pronounce that right?
Haiti.
Except for Haiti, all of Central America is considered to be developing countries. True or false?
Okay. Oh, guys. Let's see.
Hmm.
You guys got that first one wrong, and I didn't notice it. A developed nation relies mostly on agricultural products. That's false.
False.
A developed nation relies mostly on industrialized products. So developing nations, and underdeveloped nations are going to be agricultural in nature. Okay, now B, except for Haiti, all of Central America is considered developing. That's true. Okay. Okay, so B is true. Got that?
All right, next one.
Somebody's typing or something on the other end. So
Oh,
okay.
I'm not typing. I'm just tapping my fingernails on my computer.
Okay. All right. So what's the next one?
A developed nation typically has a longer lifespan and may have a higher literacy rate. True or false?
Developed nation. Are developed nations going to have longer lifespans and higher literacy rate? That's true. Okay. What's the next one, Rana?
Developing countries have a developed physical and technological base.
A developing country? Now, it says developed. That means it's already here. It's already gone as far as it's going to go. Is that true if you're a developing country? If you're a developing country, you have developed. You've taken it as far as you can. You have developed. It's false. You are developing that technological base and that physical base, but you aren't there yet. And so a developing country is that base is coming, but it isn't there. Okay. Most developed nations lack industrialization, right?
True or false?
Developing nations lack industrialization. I'm going to say that's false. Why would I say that's false? Read the question.
Most developing nations lack industrialization.
Okay,
True or false?
right. So the word lack.
Most.
No, it's
Lack.
the word lack that is your key. Okay. If you're developing, if you're moving along, you're moving up in terms of providing economically for your people. Are you going to completely not have it, not have industrialization? Because if you don't, that means you're just subsisting. You're living off of agriculture. And if you're a developing nation, is that going to be possible? Can you be developing? Yes, Eli. If you're a developing nation, is it possible that you can be developing and not have any industrialization at all? Because lack means don't have any. Come on, give me some feedback here. If you're a developing nation Can you be developing without any industrialization?
No.
You can't be. Okay. So do you see how tricky they can make these questions? All right. They can trick you. But that word lack, that word lack, that is the key here. Okay. Got it? All right. So I'm going to show you guys a video real quick. Okay. So if you could, please turn off your, make sure you turn off your mics, and I'm going to turn off mine. Okay, so I asked you a few questions in the chat as we went through this, but the main thing, okay, thoughts about this. Why would people be that desperate to make this kind of a trek across probably one of the most dangerous geographic areas in the world? And all of the people that were under the bridge um, in Del Rio this past couple of weeks, 15,000 of them, had to make this journey, guys. And it took a lot of those people up to 6 years to go from South America, Colombia, uh, Brazil, even as far down as Argentina. It took them 6 years to 10 years to get where they were under that bridge. And then what happened to them, many of them, 2 or 3,000 of them, what happened last week and the week before to a good number of them? They got sent back. How would you feel about that? How would that make you feel? You literally can reach out and see the other side of where you have been trying to get to for 6 years, and then they put you on a plane, and they send you back where you started 6 years ago. That would really be more than disappointing, wouldn't it? Okay, so can you see where these people are coming from? And then um, along the way, they're bringing their families with them. Okay, and yes, the Haitians especially, to go from Haiti, you had to cross the Caribbean, go to Venezuela, go into Colombia, go from Colombia up that Darien Gap, across that Darien Gap into Panama, from Panama all the way up Central America, and then you get to the United States. Okay, that's the kind of journey these people are making. Do we have a better understanding of what we mean by push factors now? Is their migration simply about wanting to take a job from someone in the United States? Is it about, oh, I'm just going to go get a better job? Or is there something deeper here that we need to understand about immigration and emigration? Something much deeper, right? Okay. Raina, can you help me read this question? Raina, you there? Can you help me read this question real quick? Okay, I'll read it. What are the main natural hazards of Central America? Are they tornadoes, fires, and floods, wind, hail, and snow, hurricanes, earthquakes, and mudslides, or heck, I don't know? Let me put the poll up. Okay, most of you said C, and the answer is C. It's hurricanes, earthquakes, and mudslides, because all of Central America is along a very dangerous set of 4 plates where 4 continental plates come together. It is one of the most volcanically and earthquake active areas in the world. Okay, and you're living on top of a volcanic area that a lot of people don't even realize. So volcanic and earthquake activity. Central America is on 4 different plates. The boundaries between these plates are known as the Mid-America Trench. A trench is a deep, deep, deep point in the ocean that can go down, in this case, 21,000 feet, 4 miles. Okay, 4 miles deep into the ocean. It lies along the border between, along Costa Rica and Mexico, goes all the way up, 1,700 miles long, with the deepest point 21,800 feet. And a trench is a long, narrow depression in the ocean floor, and there is a picture of that Atlantic Trench, the Mid-America Trench. Okay. So how does the populace, the people that live in Central America, unintentionally risk their lives? Unintentionally risk their lives? Is it that most of them have no infrastructure to rely on, or that a small number of products makes them financially susceptible to a shift in global demand? Or is it that the international community has stifled their prosperity? Or is it that most of these people live on top of an active earthquake and volcano area? Which one of these? I'm going to put the poll up real fast. Okay. While and most of you said D, and the answer is D, but the other 3, A, B, and C, are all true, but they really are not about unintended risks. Most people don't even realize that they're living on top of an active volcanic area and an active earthquake area. And I mean, just think about it. The Dominican Republic 2 weeks ago, in just 2 days, had an earthquake, a 7.2 earthquake, one of the strongest in recent memory, and they had a hurricane hit them within 2 days of each other. Okay, how'd you like to live there? I would probably move to Colombia and work my way up from there too, if I was that desperate and in that kind of harm. And then that's not even the economic danger or any of the physical dangers that they're in, because it's a very violent country. They just murdered the president of the country, was assassinated just 2 months ago. Okay, so let's see if we can match these 3 geographic features: an isthmus, a cay or key, and an archipelago. Which one is the isthmus? Okay. All right. An isthmus is a narrow stretch of land, like in Panama. Okay. A cay or key, most of you guys are pointing on that one to the archipelago, actually. The key is the one at the bottom. Okay. The key is the one at the bottom. The archipelago is the one in the middle. A key is a small island, usually volcanic in nature, made of sand and coral, that is in the Caribbean. Okay? Or key or a cay. An isthmus is, as you can see, as you can see here, an isthmus is an archipelago is a long string of islands. This is an archipelago. This is an isthmus. This is a key. Okay? Got that? Okay. We go in 2 minutes, guys. I'm going to teach bell to bell here, okay? All right, real quickly. We're almost where I want to be. Flora and fauna. Central America and the Caribbean have one of the richest habitats. This is eco-rich. 4,000 species of plants. Home to the baboon sanctuary protecting the black howler monkeys. Guatemala, home to over 8,000 species of plants due to its moist environment. Panama's landscape is unique as highly densely populated areas and dense jungles are close to each other. Is that a good thing for highly densely populated areas and dense jungles to be close to each other? What's going to give? The jungle or the urban area? What's going to happen to the jungle? Your family? I hope not. Have you ever seen howler monkeys? They're pretty cool. Okay, what's gonna happen when you have people in Panama living in these very highly densely populated areas next to large jungles? What's going to happen? To the jungle? As people, this is one of the questions that we had last week, and this is one of the things that we need to really consider. As people are living in these urban areas, what happens with the urban area? It's going to want to spread, right? So people are going to go into the jungle, and what are they going to do? There's a word for what I'm looking for. They're going to deforest. You're going to see heavy levels of deforestation. And since the Amazon is the source to a good 1/3 of the oxygen we breathe, it's not good if we're cutting down all the trees in the Amazon, is it? Nope. Okay. So if this is happening in the jungles of Central and South America, if this is happening in Peru, if it's happening in Panama, you're going to have deforestation, and that deforestation is going to lead to big problems and possibly desertification later on. Okay, and that's the whole root of that question about urbanization and the problems, the ecological issues around that. Okay, guys, I'm keeping you over. Have a good day. I'll see you all on Monday. If you need anything, you know how to contact me. Bye.